ask about what are we going to do if we don't get a bonus? Get the damn $26 million. Spend your time and your effort thinking about the $26 million we need and not thinking about what you're going to do if we don't get a bonus. All right? Can I get some commitment for that? I would appreciate that.
Andi Owen, the president and CEO of MillerKnoll, made a complete mockery of herself and her company. She's recently come under fire for telling her employees who are simply inquiring about their bonuses to leave a pity city. Now, I don't know about you, but this is some grade A, top shelf, 5-star heartless bullshit. Now, to put it in context, MillerKnoll is a company that produces some of the most uninspired and overpriced furniture you can find. And Andi Owen is the woman in charge of all of it. Last year, she took home just shy of $5 million, including a $1.2 million bonus. Meanwhile, her employees are out here struggling to make ends meet, and all they wanted was a little bonus for their hard work. So this video call happened, and the employees start asking questions like, how can we stay motivated if we're not going to get a bonus? And what does CEO Andi Owen do? She takes it upon herself to address these concerns head on.
Questions came through about how can we stay motivated if we're not going to get a bonus? What can we do? What can we do? Some of them were nice and some of them were not so nice. So I'm going to address this head on. The most important thing we can do right now is focus on the things that we can control.
However, it's not the head on you would expect from a compassionate human being. No, this is a head on from someone who's clearly lost touch with reality and has no idea what it's like to struggle for a paycheck. So Andi proceeds to tell her employees that they should focus on the things that they can control, like staying in front of customers and providing the best customer service they can.
Stay in front of our customers, provide the best customer service we can, get our orders out our door.
Sure, those are great things to focus on, but what about the people behind the scenes who are the backbone of the company? What about the workers who bust their asses every single day to keep that business running smoothly? And then the real kicker. Andi Owen tells her employees not to worry about what they'll do if they don't get a bonus, but instead they should spend their time and effort thinking about the $26 million that the company needs. Now, this woman, who made millions last year, is essentially telling her struggling employees that they should be more concerned with the company's bottom line than their own financial well-being. It's not only tone deaf, it is straight up infuriating. Now, of course, I've got to give credit where credit is due. I think it takes a special kind of person to reach this level of delusion. Imagine having the audacity to tell people who are barely making ends meet that they should just stop thinking about their financial struggles and focus on making you even more money. Let's be frank here. It's a freaking scumbag move straight up. Oh, but Andi isn't done yet. Oh no. Andi Owen goes on to quote an old boss.
I had an old boss who said to me one time, you can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. So people, leave Pity City. Let's get it done. Thank you. Have a great day.
So she's basically telling her employees to leave their concerns and struggles behind and just get the job done. Spoken like a true out-of-touch capitalist CEO. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting some serious let them eat cake vibes from this whole situation. It's like Andi Owen is completely oblivious to the struggles her employees face, and she's more than happy to keep them down while she continues to rake in millions of dollars. And the fact that she's so shamelessly flaunting her wealth and privilege in the face of her employees is just mind-blowing. So what's the takeaway from this whole debacle? Well, for starters, it is a stark reminder that there's a massive disconnect between the haves and the have-nots in this world. Andi Owen is living in her own little bubble, completely detached from the reality her employees are facing. She might as well be living on another planet because her understanding of the struggles faced by everyday people is non-existent. And to be honest, it's absolutely infuriating to see something like this. We live in a world where CEOs make astronomical amounts of money while their employees are left to struggle and scrape by. These workers are the backbone of their companies, and they're the ones who make it possible for CEOs like Andi Owen to earn their ridiculous salaries. But instead of being rewarded for their hard work, they're told to leave Pity City and focus on making the company even more money. It's a total slap in the face, and it's a perfect example of the kind of corporate greed that's running rampant in our society. People like Andi Owen are so consumed by their own wealth that they've lost sight of the fact that their employees are human beings with needs and struggles of their own. totally a disgusting display of privilege, and it's something that needs to be called out and condemned. And let's not forget about the employees themselves. These are the people who've been dealt a raw deal, and they're the ones who are truly suffering as a result of Andi Owen's callousness. It's easy to get caught up in the outrage, but let's take a moment to acknowledge the very real struggles that they are actually facing. They have to worry about their bills, putting food on the table, making ends meet. They're the ones who have to deal with the stress and anxiety that comes with financial instability, and they deserve so much better than what they're getting. And it's important to remember that behind the outrage, there are real people actually being affected by this situation. Well, so it didn't take long for people to start calling Andi Owen out on her shit. They flooded LinkedIn with comments expressing their outrage and disbelief over her statement. But what's more telling is how quickly she decided to disable comments on her LinkedIn posts. And there again, people in positions of power, like CEOs, often live in a bubble surrounded by yes men who do nothing but validate their every decision and stroke their egos. So when faced with real-world problems or honest feedback, these high and mighty people simply cannot handle the heat. They prefer to live in their comfortable little echo chambers, free from the harsh realities that their employees and the rest of the world have to deal with on a daily basis. So when the voices of dissent become too loud, they just shut down the conversation, refusing to engage or acknowledge the valid concerns and criticisms being brought to their attention. It's a prime example of the disconnect between those in power and the people they're supposed to be leading. They're so used to being appeased and coddled that when faced with the unfiltered truth, they'd rather bury their heads in the sand than confront the issues head on. It's disappointing, but unfortunately, it's an all too common response from the upper echelons of corporate power. And speaking of injustice and the need for empathy, I recently made a video about another situation that showcases just how important it is to stand up for what is right and treat others with respect. In this case, it involves a judge who broke a contestant's guitar. It may sound a bit like a leap, but trust me, there is definitely a connection there. Because much like Andi Owen's detachment from her employees, this judge's actions demonstrate a similar lack of understanding and empathy for the people affected by their decision. It's yet another example of someone in a position of power and authority acting without considering the consequences of their actions on others. So it is definitely linked above. Make sure you check it out. Head on over there right now and I'll see you over there.
Let's get it done. Thank you. Have a great day.